This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the next session of SAP HANA SAP Native HANA training. In the last session, we started with HANA SQL, and we started with the different types of SQL containers where you can write SQL code in HANA Studio. We understood the significance of different types of containers. We saw anonymous block. We started with procedures. We also understood what is table function. In procedure, we also understood what is catalog procedure and what is repository procedure. With that, we also started with understanding the different types of clauses inside the procedure writing. What is the security invoker definer? What is default schema? What is read SQL data is? What is language? Those concepts we understood. We also understood what is dummy. Why is dummy table required in writing the SQL coding inside different containers? So that was a very important session, understanding the different basic concepts of SQL HANA. Today we will continue with our agenda of understanding SQL HANA, and today we are going to discuss the different types of statements which we can write inside the procedure or table functions. And we will start with understanding the declarative statements, that how do you declare the statements, and then we will jump into the imperative statements, that how do you write if else, how do you write for loop, while loop, how do you write if else conditions, how do you write the different kinds of functions, how do you write different kinds of clauses. So those things we will try to understand today, and this session of today will actually give you a very familiar background about SQL, so that you actually get over your the kinds of intuitions you have about SQL, because SQL is very friendly language. If you apply yourself in giving the right amount of practice, then of course you will excel in SQL HANA as well. Okay. So all right, let's start with the today's agenda. Let's move to the PPT. Okay, so today we will see the different kinds of statements which we can write inside the SQL containers. The first one we will see is the declare statement. Declare statement is used to define variables. So whenever we do any kind of programming, be it VB, C, C++, or any programming language in the world, you have some variables. The variables are kind of placeholders which hold some value at runtime or before the runtime, which can help you in deriving the right logic. Right. So here also we use this define statement to declare variables inside SQL HANA. Okay. So first of all, let's go to the HANA Studio and understand what is declare statement. Let's open the HANA Studio. Okay, so let's close everything what we had created earlier. Okay. All right, so now what we will do, we will create one repository procedure. How do you create a repository procedure? You have to go to repository, go to the package where you want to create your procedure. So here I will go under Tylo. Under Tylo, under ACQ package, I will create, right click, new, go to other. Stored procedure is this, click next. We will write as SQL stat1, or you can say SQL example1. Target schema, the schema where this procedure is going to be deployed when you activate. So what we will do is we will write it here. Which schema ST HANA 26 will hold this and click on finish. So ST HANA 26 is my target schema. And where is my procedure? Procedure is under Tylo package. Under Tylo, we have ACQ, and under ACQ, we have this procedure name. Very simple. Let's confirm this thing. Under Tylo, under ECQ, you will have SQL underscore EX1. Okay. But when will this procedure be deployed into the target schema? When will this procedure will be deployed into the target schema? Please answer in the chat window. How do you get the runtime version of the target of the repository object? Is this procedure inside the schema already? If you go to catalog, goes to ST HANA 26, go to procedure. Can we see SQL underscore EX1? No, it's not there. So what I have to do in order to get this procedure here? Activate, exactly. So once I activate, then this procedure will be activated under schema ST HANA 26. Okay, all right. Now let's proceed with our agenda today. What we want to do, we want to understand what is declare statement. Okay, so begin and end. This is the block where we can write our logic. So you can just remove this commented part also. So now this gives you a clarification that begin and end is your body of the procedure. Now here you can write your statements. So for example, if I write something like this, declare v underscore first name. Now what will be the data type? Data type could be n varchar, could be varchar, right? So what I will do, I will take n varchar. Okay, just for that, n varchar. N varchar 100 characters, and default would be, I'm just writing as Tom. This is declare. So I'm writing one variable which is f underscore name, and this is Tom. Okay. So when I write something like this now, that
This conference will now be recorded.
This is a declare statement. This is my variable name. F underscore name is my variable name. What is the data type? N varchar. What is the length? 100. What is the default value I have put in? Tom. All right. Now what I want to do, I want to display Tom as output of this procedure. So how do you write? Select v underscore f name from dummy, isn't it? This is the variable. So how do you write a variable? So you have to use table dummy. Okay. Now let's save it and then let's activate it. So go to repository. In the repository, you will find SQLX1, activate. Very simple example I am starting with, then I will make it little complex. Now go to systems. Now if I refresh it, I should be able to see SQL underscore X1. See, SQL underscore X1 has been deployed. Okay. Now how do you run the procedure? Call statement. So again, open a HANA console. I have opened a HANA console. How do you call? Call and then drag it here. Okay, this is procedure name, and then double bracket, semicolon, and then click on execute. See, Tom is coming now. This is Tom. Now let's make it little differently. Now we will also understand what is import and export parameters of SQL. Okay, all right. See, this is my procedure name. Now somebody asked me that I want to give the user the rights that you enter whatever you want. So in short, the procedure will have some input from the users, and based upon the input, I can also give some output to the end user. So for that, what I can do, in means I want some variables to go inside the procedure. That is called in. So what I will write, in I underscore name and varchar 100. For example, Very simple. This is an in parameter, in clause. In means I underscore name will be given by user, and n varchar is my data type, and 100 would be my length. Very simple. Okay. Now what I will do, what I want from the what I want to do is I underscore name is given by user. All right. Now what I want to display I underscore name to the end user also. Okay. So what I will do, I will write here like this, I underscore name from dummy. So what will happen, whatever user is giving me, I underscore name will also be put into the output also. Okay. So how do you do it? Save, activate. Okay. All right. Now here what we will do, again call statement. See, when I again execute it, it will give me error. What it is saying, I underscore name is not bound, wrong number of parameters. Why it is saying like this? Because now I have input parameter also. This is input parameter. So now I have to pass this also. So here I have to pass what is the name. So I will write, for example, Steve. So Steve will be acting as my input parameter. Now you click here. Steve is also my output. So this is called input parameter. Okay, this is input parameter. Now let's say what I will do is I want to display certain thing to the end user. Or let's not make it more complicated. Let's have a simple example one more time. So what we will do is, let's also understand the significance of out parameter. What is out and in? So what is in? In means the user is giving some value. Now let's say user is giving me a value called revenue, something like revenue. I will write revenue, and revenue would be of my decimal 17,2. Fine. Now what I want certain discount to happen. So what I will do, I will ask the user only that please give me revenue and also you give me the discount percentage. Very simple. So in revenue and again in discount and again decimal 17,2. So user will give me revenue and user is also giving me discount. And what I want to do here is I want to calculate the net amount. So for example, if user is giving me something like this, if user is giving me, for example, revenue is 2000 and discount is, for example, 10%. So what will be my net amount to the end user? 2000 into 0.10. So 200 will be deducted. So 2000 minus 200 is equal to 1800. This is a simple calculation. So whenever you go to a store, the total bill is, for example, 2000, but the store is giving you 10% discount. So what will be your net amount which has to be given to the store? 1800. Okay, so this is what we want to calculate. So this is my revenue, which will be given by end user, and this is going to be my discount, and that is also given by end user. So what I want to calculate my net amount. So what I will do, declare net amount, type decimal 17,2. This is my new declare statement, the new variable. Now what I will do, I will write net underscore amount is equal to, now see, this is very important. How do you use a variable inside a variable? So for that, you have to use semicolon rev, okay, minus rev into discount divide by 100. You understood what I did? Net amount is my variable, which is this. Now, how do you do the calculation part? So this is again one more learning, that how do you address a variable inside a variable? So how do you refer it? So, if I want to refer this rev, I have to use single colon like this. Single colon rev, and single colon discount. Okay. And once the net amount is ready, what I will do, I want to pass this as output parameter. So what I will do, out net underscore amount decimal, let's put it down, out decimal 17,2. Fine. Okay, now there's some error here. What it is saying, okay, I think we have to use something like this. Yeah. So this is how you assign. This is an assign statement. So net amount is equal to, so you write like this. You cannot write like this in SQL. You have to write single colon, then again single colon rev, single colon discount. Okay. Now once that is done, the net amount would be directly put into my output parameter net underscore amount. Okay, very simple. Let's save it and execute it. Activated, done. Now let's close. Let's again run it. Now you try to understand, how do I call it? There are three parameters, right? One parameter is my revenue, second parameter is my discount, and third parameter is my net amount, right? And that is going to be my output parameter. So revenue is my input parameter. So I will give revenue as, for example, 2000. So 2000 is my revenue. Discount I am giving as 10%, and net amount I will be having output. Now, try to always remember this thing, that for output parameter, you always assign a question mark. Because we don't know the output parameter, right? We don't know what is my output parameter. So that's why we are giving as question mark, because my out parameter, which is net amount, will be determined by the procedure only. So right at the end only net amount will be decided, and that will be directly transferred into my output parameter, right? So now this is my input parameter revenue, this is my input parameter discount, and that is going to be my third one is my net amount output. Since I don't know what is going to be my output, I will leave it as question mark.
This conference will now be recorded.
So let's try to run this now. Okay. So now execute this. Oh, it's not coming. 1 minute. Let me see why it is not coming. Net amount is equal to revenue minus revenue into discount divided by 100. And net amount is also my output parameter. It should come. Why it is not coming? This is my output parameter, net amount, revenue minus revenue. Why it is not coming? Not sure. Let's just assign some value here randomly, 1000. Let's see if 1000 is coming there or not. Let's see that. Is there any problem in the calculation? Let's try to understand that first. So now if I just pass any random value and just click on question mark, no, it's not coming at all. So the output parameter is not coming there. Net amount is this out. And net amount 1000, it is not coming. Why? out.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we understood what is the issue. So the thing is, this net amount, right? This net amount is again a declared statement. So we have declared one output parameter called net amount with decimal 17,2 as data type. Now, again, I have declared net amount with 17,2. So this is comes kind of ambiguous to SQL. That which net amount are we referring to? This is net amount under body, and this is in the output parameter, right? So when we are writing something like this, what you can do is either you comment this, you don't need this, you can directly use net underscore amount because net underscore amount is already in the output parameter. So this will refer directly to that variable. So the whole intention of giving this example is to understand how do you use variable inside variable. So this is single colon. So this is how you refer it. Single colon, single colon, single colon. You can see everywhere I have used single colon. This is how you use a variable inside the variable. Okay. Now let's try to save it and activate. This is save, activate. Okay, activated. Now you come here and the input parameter number 1 is net amount, 10 is my discount, and this is my output parameter. Now you execute it. See, directly 1800 is my output. Okay. Now let's try to even change this. This is 2000. So let's change it to, for example, 40% discount I am giving. Execute, and then you see 1200 is your net amount. Okay. This is how you use input and output parameters as a variable. So these are variables, right? Revenue, discount, net amount, these are variables. Okay. And the intention that you see here, this is single colon, single colon, single colon. This is how you refer it inside variable. Okay. Now let's try to understand one more thing. Let's try to create one example where the user will enter the table name, any table name. Okay, any table name. And what we will do, we will give the output to the end user. Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So now what we will do is we will ask the user to give some table name, and on top of that, what we will do, we will give some output to the user. Okay. So for that, we will create another example. So go to new, other, stored procedure, click next, and here you will write SQL underscore example 2. And again, my target schema is going to be ST HANA 26. So simple, click on finish. Here, what we'll do, we will write our logic. Here, there will be an input parameter. So in underscore I underscore, something like this, I underscore table name, varchar, and table name would be 100 characters long. And let's just put this now, and then we will create the output parameter little later. Now say, what I want to do is, if what I will do, I will create this example for only Mara, for table Mara now. Okay. So what we will do, I will write select material number, MTRT, Matcal, and Spart. Okay, these are the 4 columns which I will be using from the table name. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's not take this example because this will actually require the dynamic SQL. So let's not take this example. So what we will do is, let's try to have this thing somewhere else. Let's create some other example because I want to show you that how do you take the output of the table. Okay, so let's hard code the table name. Okay, we will not take the table name. We will take the table name directly from the variable directly. We will not even use a variable. Okay, so what I will do is I will write something like this: select star, not star, select material type, Matcal, and Spart. Okay, and I want to display this output to the end user. Okay, so from Mara. Now I cannot write Mara here because Mara is from different schema. So it is under SAP HANA DB dot Mara, right? And we will write, that's it. This is going to be my select query, not more than that. Okay. Now I want to display these many parameters to the end user. So how do you do this? So for that, what will we do? We will write some output parameter, right? So out, and in the out, we will write something like this. Out one. Now this, you can see this is a table, right? This is not a variable. This is a table having 4 columns, isn't it? This is kind of a table. So for that, we will write out one table name. Say table name is, for example, result 1 is my table name. Then I will write table because this is going to be my table variable. Now I will declare my column names. So what is going to be my table column name? Matner. Matner will be which varchar or nvarchar. So let's see what is the data type of these columns. So for that, we will go to the schema SAP HANA DB. Go to SAP HANA DB, open that, go to tables, go to filter, write Mara. Here it is Mara, just open this. This is Matner. You can see nvarchar 40. You see here nvarchar 40 and everything is nvarchar. You can see that nvarchar is given to all the columns. So we don't have to worry about that. So we will write nvarchar 40. Okay. So here Matner nvarchar 40. Okay. Then mtart nvarchar. How many characters? mtart is how many characters? mtart is 4 characters. Okay. So this is again 4 characters. Now we have Matcal. Matcal. Let's take this down. Matcal nvarchar. What is the length? Matcal matkl is again 9 character. This is 9 character. And the last one is part. SPRT nvarchar. And how many characters is this? SPRT. So SPRT is 2 characters. Fine. So give that. Done. Okay. So what it is showing, there is some error. I think there is some bracket mismatch. Let's see. Table. Matner done. MTRT done. MTRT memtable part is also done. This is out parameter. I think one more bracket is needed. That's it. Done. Now this is my select query. That's done. This is my select query, right? And I want to pass this into a variable. So how do you pass this table into a variable called result1, right? So for that, what you can do is like this: select this into result1, something like this. Result1 is where? Result1 is this table variable. So what I want, select these columns into result1. Result1 is my table variable, and from this table. Okay, and this table variable has exactly the same structure. So be always be mindful of the fact that whatever is you are selecting should be exactly the same structure in the output structure also. Okay, if you do any kind of, for example, you just change it to any other name, for example, you make it mtrt1, right, and you try to activate, See, error is coming. What it is saying? Exactly, it is not saying anything, but the problem is that it should be the same one, right? So this MTRT has to be MTRT, not MTRT, the other name. Now let's go to right click and execute, activate. Oh, something else is again coming. 1 minute, let me see. I think you shouldn't be doing like this. My mistake. You should do like this. Result 1 is equal to, this is how you do it. Result 1 equal to select query. Okay. So activate it now. See, activated. Actually, I just went into some ABAP coding because in ABAP you have to write into statement. So this is how you write. This is called implicit declaration, right? So this is select query from table, and this data is going to be stored into result 1. Very simple. And result 1 structure is already there. You can see that. Yeah. Now let's activate it. Let's run it. How do you run it? Again, call statement, right? So in the call statement, what we will do, let's take this same call statement and just make it 2. Okay. Now, do you have any input parameter here? No. But do we have any output parameter? Yes. So output parameter will be replaced with question mark. Okay. Now you select this and click on execute. And see here, what is the result? The 4 columns from the Mara is in front of you. Right? Now, for example, you just want to see the MTRT of HAWA. So you can just go to your query, into your query, simply write where MTRT is equal to HAWA, right? Save it and activate. Again, come here in your console, execute this, and you see now only HAWA MTRT is being shown. Fine. This is how do you write like this. Now, one thing which we need to understand here is that this structure, right? This structure, whenever you write the select query, you have to also write the structure here also, isn't it? Now, this is something very time consuming. This is something very time consuming. So, and for example, you have to write something like 100 procedures, and in the 100 procedures, you have to actually use this structure, this 4 column structure. So why not we create one reusable structure and we can call directly into my procedure every time. So I don't have to write this kind of, assign declarative statement inside my procedure. So for that, what we can do is we can create one table type. So now there's new concept coming in, which is called as table type. What is table type? Table type means what I will do, I will just create this structure with 4 columns. And whenever I need to call this structure, I will directly call. I don't have to explicitly write in anywhere. All right. So how do you do it? So for creating a type, you have to go to HANA console. This is HANA console. Okay. And you have to write something like this. Create table type. Just give me a minute. Let me just find the exact syntax. Yeah. So create type. So this is type. Now Where you want to create this type? So I want to create under ST HANA 26 schema. And what will be my table type name? So for example, I will write as Mara underscore structure 1. This is my structure number 1 as table. Something like this is a syntax. And then in the brackets, you will write the structure definition. So where I will take the definition, I already have the definition ready here. Just copy, go to your console and paste it here. Okay. Oh, only 2 are coming. 1 minute. Okay. I have to take the entire thing. Mattner, MTRT, Matcal, and Spart. Let's take the entire and put it here. Oh, I think there's a problem in the copy paste. Okay, let me again do it. So first of all, let's take Mattner and MTRT only. Okay. Now let's take the other 2, which is METKL and Spart. So this is the other 2 columns. Done. Now we will execute this. Execution done. Okay. Now let's go to your schema ST HANA 26. Where are schema ST HANA 26? Okay. Now here under procedure, when you go, there is a folder called table types. You can see that. When you open this table types, it will show you the different kinds of table types we have created. So what is the one which we created now? Mara str1. See here, Mara str1 is created. When you double click, you see this is the same structure which we have used it here. Yeah, this is the structure. Now see the utility of this type. When you go to procedure, you don't have to write every time like this. What you can do instead, simply in the output parameter, you just drag it here. And that's it. So what I'm saying, that output parameter will have one variable called result1, and result1 will be having the structure of like this. That's it. Now you create as many as procedures you want. If you want to use this structure, directly call the structure here. No need to write every time the structure definition. Now you save it, go to repository and activate it. All right, activation done. Go to console and execute now. See, you will get the same structure again. See, but now you saved your time by using table types. Okay, this is called table types. Now, one more learning. Now that learning is that a table, now try to concentrate what I'm saying. A table, a database table is also a potentially table type. Did you understand what I'm saying? A table, database table, also a table type. That means I can use the table name also as table type. Okay, so let's write here so that it is on the records also. Table types. So table types is used for what? To reuse structure across different DB objects. Okay. Now, one more thing which we need to understand is a table is also a potential table type. Now let's see what I'm trying to say here. So for example, I want to take the entire data from the Mara table. So what I will write, select star, isn't it? Select star from Mara. So the entire data, all the columns, there are 320 columns, right? How many columns were there? Just see here. There are around 287 columns. So when I want to give the entire output of the table to the end user, Do I have to explicitly define 287 columns inside my table type? So the way I wrote this statement, right? This is 4 columns. So for that requirement, I have to write all the 325 columns here in order to make this requirement fulfill. But what we can do smartly is that don't even create a table type, because a table name is also a table type potentially. So what we can do is, instead of using the table type which we explicitly defined, you can directly use SAP HANA DB dot Mara. You can see here. Now this table name itself is a table type also, because a table is also a structure potentially, right? So now when I do this, you see the beauty. I have not even created any structure. Activated. Oh, sorry. Click on activate. Done. Go to your console, select this, execute. See, all the 325 columns are coming. The entire table itself is coming. But have I declared any types here? No, because a table name is also a potential table type. And this thing, many of the consultants in these days does not know that a table name is also a potential table type. So you don't have to explicitly define every time. Now, but in a case where you don't need the entire structure, you need only 4 to 5 columns. So in that case, of course, you will have to explicitly create a table type the way we created here, because we need certain columns from the table. So that is why we created a small table type, and that is what we can directly use it here. Okay, so that is the table types concept. Okay, all right. Now let's move. Let's move to understand other concepts. Okay, so I'll just leave this thing as it is so that it is saved for your reference. Let's create some other examples now. And now what we will do, we will try to see the different utilities of select queries. Go to other, procedure, SQL underscore example 2. And this is going to be ST HANA 26. Oh, 2 is already there, right? So we have to make it 3. Click on finish. All right. Now what we will see, we will try to see the select queries. What can we do with select queries? Now, for example, I write something like this: select, let's say VBLN. I'm going to VBAP table now. VBLN, Posner, let's say Matna, let's say net underscore amount, and say what are the other columns? Let's open that. Let's open the SAP GUI so that we can see it in a convenient way. Go to S11, go to VBAP table, go to display, and say VBLN, Posner, Matner we have taken, and what else we can take? For example, let's do one thing. We also take VBAK. Okay, let's take VBAK. And VBAK is, let's see the example. You have sales order type, right? AUART, right? You have AUART. So what we will do is that we will try to give some description. Okay, what description we will give? That if the sales order number is ZOR, we will create one more column, and here we will write type 1. Okay, and if it is TA, let's create here. So what we will do, if the sales order type is ZOR, then we will write as type 1. If it is TA, we will write it as type 2. And if it is ZS01, we will write as type 3. And anything other than these three, we will write as others. We will just try to understand what is derived column. How do you create one more column at runtime? Okay. So, all right. So let's try to understand that. So let's create. What we will do is we will also understand joins here. Okay. How do you write a join? So we will have two tables. One is VBAK and one is VBAP. In VBAK, we will try to take VBLN, the sales order number, and we will also try to take AUART, which is sales order type. From VBAP, we will take Posner, Matner, and respective net amount, which is NETWR. These are the 5 columns we will take, and 6th column. So you can say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th column we will create at runtime, and that will become something like this: something like this, type description. So we are trying to give the description of AUART at runtime. Okay, let's see how do you do it. So we will create something like this: VBLN AUART Posner Matner and NETWR. These are the 5 columns I want to take. Now let's try to understand the joining. How do you join in SQL? Okay. So now you see here, this VBLN and AUART is coming from which table? VBAK. Whereas Posner, Matner, NETW are coming from VBAP. Okay. So this is VBAK and this is VBAP. So how do you join this? There has to be a relation. Then only you can join these two, right? So for joining, what we have to do? We have to create a joining. So for that, what we will do, first of all, let's categorize this thing. So what we will do, A.VBLN, A.AUART, B.Posner, B.Matner, and B.NETWR. So these B things, these B is representing VBAP and A is representing VBAK, right? Now I will write from which table? So VBAK as A, join VBAP as B. What I'm writing, select these columns from VBAK, join VBAP, and I am using as alias. I am saying VBAK as A, VBAP as B, joining on which column? So on A dot VBLN equal to B dot VBLN, right? Because the joining between these two tables, if you see, what is the primary key between these two? VBLN. This is VBLN, VBAK. If you go to VBAP, what is the common entity? Again, VBAK, VBLN, right? So we will join on VBLN column so that the bridge is established between these two tables. Okay. So now my data output is ready here. You see here, right? Now, what we will do? We will send this as output. Okay, this is what we want. We want to send this as output. So for that, we will create one output parameter, or even don't create the output parameter. When you write something like this, this will directly go into my output only. Okay. All right. So now let's save it and click on activate. There is an error. Symbol not found. Okay. We have not given the schema name. See the significance of schema. They don't understand what is VBAK, what is VBAP. Right? Now, in order to make this work, what we have to do, we have to write default schema. if I write something like this, ACP HANA DB, isn't it? Now, if I try to do this, it will be okay, because all those tables will be coming from ACP HANA DB. You see, now it is activated. See the beauty of default schema. I don't have to explicitly come and write ACP HANA DB. I have written here once. That's it. Now you go to your HANA console to execute this. Right click. 1 minute. I double clicked. Right click and HANA console. Call what? Call my procedure. Where is my procedure? This is my procedure. Refresh it so that the new procedure name also comes here. Number 3 is this. Do we have any input or parameter, output parameter? No, nothing, right? So it will be blank only. Now you execute it. You see now, your VBLN number is coming. Your VBLN, its corresponding type, its Posner, its Mattner, its net amount, everything is coming from the join. See, if you look at the sales order 78, it has 2 items, and the sales order type is TA, and material number and its net amount is coming. Fine, no problem. This was very simple. Now what we want to achieve here is that if you look at the output here, if you encounter any table type, for example, what we have written, if the TA table type is there, I want to write as type 2 in the new column. So TA, you see, this is TA. This is TA. So in TA, I will write here something like some description. For ZS01, what we have decided? Type 3, you see here, type 3. And other than these 3, if anything is coming, I will write as others. Simple? Okay. Now let's try to see how do you write this. For that, we will use case statement, case. Okay, so how do you write a case statement? Let's see that. Give a minute, I'm just opening that. Okay. For that, what we have to do, let's write at the end here, write case. Simple case. Okay, let's take this from statement down so that it is very easy for you to understand what I'm writing. From. Okay. Now what is a case? The case is case when this AUART, right? AUART. When this AUART is equal to, what is the formula? ZOR. ZOR. Then it should write like type 1, right? So type 1 is my description. Okay. This is case number 1. Then another case. When, again, let's copy this. Let's copy this and let's take this thing down so that it is very easy to understand. Case when AORT, then this. Now the second statement, when what is the second statement? TA. When the AORT is TA, I will write it as type 2. Fine. Sorry, type 2. Now other one. When AUART is equal to ZS01, then type 3. Fine. But if anything other than that, what we will do? We will write else. Else, if anything other than these three, what will do? You should write others. So else others. Now, this is a column you see here. This is a column which we are generating at runtime. So we have to give a name also, any dummy name. So what we will do? As type underscore description. And that's it. So this is what it is, my case statement. So my case statement starts here, that when AURT is this, type 1, when it is this, when you are ZS01, then type 3, else it is others. Okay. And I'm saying that this column, which I'm generating at runtime, has to be given as name type description. Now, let's see why it is error coming. Okay. We have to also write end. So this is how you write case statement. Case, when, else, end. So your case statement is ended here, and this column, right, which we have given here as a formula, this column will be categorized as type description. Okay, now let's run this, then you will be understanding what I'm writing here. Save, go to your repository and activate. Done. Done. Now you go to HANA console and simply execute it. Now you see the beauty. Type underscore description is a new column. You see here. Was that earlier present? Please answer in the chat window. Type underscore description was present earlier. Was type underscore description present? No. And also tell me, is type underscore description part of any table VBAK or VBAP? Is type underscore description? No. So what we have done is we have created a derived column. This is a concept of derived column. So this column is actually generated at runtime depending on the certain parameters and conditions. And what was our condition? My condition was dependent on AUART. That if 01 is there, TA is there, ZOR is there. Okay, so this is not saved. This is the runtime, right? So this is a runtime. The output will be used anywhere. This type underscore description is not going to go and save into any database table. Are we doing any insert statement here? No, it's a select statement. Select statement does not save anything, right? It's only output. I want to display certain things, but I saw that the requirement of type description is not present in the table. So that is why we created one more column so that our requirement of type description can be fulfilled. That is why we created this. So you can see wherever you have other than these three columns, others are coming. Why? Because we have written in the else condition that if you find any other column other than these three values, Z, S01 and others, it will go to a others value. Okay, so this is a concept of case statement. You see here, this is a derived column. Okay. Now what we will see is, we will try to see if-else statement. Very simple, if-else statement. We have seen this kind of logic in all the programming language. What is if, what is else, right? So let's see the example of if-else also. How do you write if and else? Okay. Now for that, we will create another example so that it is recorded for your reference. So what we have seen so far, let's also record in the PPT. So in the PPT, we have also seen case statement. Okay, so that is also done. So case statement is done to categorize within select query or within any SQL query. Okay. Okay. Now let's go to understand what is if and else. It's very simple. Let's try to create one example. ECQ new other stored procedure SQL underscore example 4. My target schema again ST HANA 26. Enter. Here what we will do is what is if and else, right? So for if and else, what we will do is okay, very simple example. Okay, I think the things can be also done with case statement. So let me categorize what we can do for if and else. Okay. Okay. So let's say the user is saying that I want certain conditions. For example, if I write select star from Mara, right? And if I write select star from Mara, where MTRT is equal to HAWA. Okay. So user will tell me that which statement do you want to execute. So user will say, if user say 1, that means select star from Mara, it means all the columns, all the rows and all the columns. But if user says 2, that means I will select a conditional statement. Very simple. So for that, we will try to create the logic. So first of all, user has to give an input parameter. So in say example condition, and it will be of type integer, right? I will write something like I underscore input, something like this. And integer is my data type. Now, based on that, I will write here if, say if else condition, how do you write? If I underscore input. So how do you address a variable? Always semicolon, the single column. If I underscore input is equal to 1, then what? I will write select star from Mara. Simple. Else, if user gives anything than 1, then I will write select star from Mara, where MTART is equal to HAWA. So I have written something like this, and I will write end if. Very simple. If input is 1, this statement, else this statement. Very layman language example. Fine. Save it. Activate this. Mara. Oh, again the same problem. He is not able to understand what is Mara. So Mara is actually part of SAP HANA DB. So here you can do default schema. SAP HANA DB done. Now you save it and activate it. Again error. Invalid schema name. What happened? The schema name is not this. 1 minute. SAP HANA DB. Yeah, that is the one. SAP HANA DB. Yeah, this is what it is. What is the issue here? Oh, the default, okay, the target schema spelling is wrong. You see here, ST Han 26 I have given. It is ST HANA 26, okay? Okay, now save, activate, done. Okay, now how do you execute any procedure? Call statement. SQL, click here. Now go to your schema. Where is your schema? ST HANA 26. This is the one. Refresh the procedure name so that we can see the new procedure also. This is the one. Call this one. Now, do we have any input parameter here? Answer in the chat window. Do we have any input parameter here? Do we have any input parameter here? Yes. So for that, we will write the input parameter name and we will see, give first of all 1. So 1 means what? 1 means the entire table. Okay. Execute this. You see the entire table with, if you see the MTRT, see HAWA, SERW, NLEC, MET, all kinds of MTRT is coming. You see here. Now let's try to understand with any other number other than 1. Let's say 2. Now you execute. See, now only HAWA is coming. Why? Because we have written a condition that if any number other than 1 is coming, please execute this one. Very simple layman language. See, like, how do you write if and else? Is that clear? How do you write if and else? Okay. So now what we will do, we will try to see while condition, for condition, again, very simple. So let's close this. I'll just save it for your reference. Don't save. Now go to procedures. Sorry, go to your repository. Let's create one more procedure. There we will try to understand if and else and while condition. All right. So here ACQ, new, other, stored procedure, SQL underscore example 5. What is my target schema? ST HANA 26. This time I will not do the spelling mistake. Click on finish. Done. Now let's try to understand what is if condition, what is while condition, sorry, what is for condition, for loop, and what is while loop, right? These are the two things which we want to understand. So these kind of loops, when we do it, okay, so with the programming languages example, you must be understanding that whenever we want to do iterations, I mean iterative conditions, iterative logic, for that we have to write for loop or while loop, right? So let's try to create an example for loop. So what we will do is for loop is let's see that what kind of example, what is the easiest example I can give you. Okay, let's create one very interesting example here. Okay, for that what we will do is we will take help of any database table which we had created earlier. Okay, so for that, let's see any tables which we had created. Tables is this one. Yeah, okay, open this table and go to T1 table. What is the T1? System ID com. Okay, let's see if any table, any data is there in this table. Data preview. Yeah, we have this table. All right. Okay. Any other simple table you have? I just want one column. Okay, let's create one table very quickly. Let's not wait. Catalog table I am creating. Click new table, and I will write as, for example, okay, we will write simple as SQL example 5 because this is where I'm going to use it, and I will write it here as column 1. Okay, and here it will be integer. I will make it as integer as the column data type. Done. Very simple example. and simply save it. Done. So create column table is done. Let's refresh it so that we can see the value here. Which one we have created? SQL underscore HANA X5. Yeah, this is the one. Now let's open this table. And this is column 1. All right. Okay. Now what I want to do here is that user will give some input parameter in I underscore input, and it will be of type integer. So if user say selects 50, that means 50 entries has to be inserted inside my table. Okay. Let's write exit, then only you will be understanding what I'm saying. Now for example, let's try to just create insert statement here. Now I will write something like this. Insert value 1, insert value 2. Okay, execute this. Done. Okay, now you simply come inside the procedure. Let's not even give any input parameter. Simply write select star from this table. Fine. Save and go to your repository to activate this. Simple and activate. Very simple example. Yeah. Now go to your HANA console. And call this. Call. Where is my procedure? Procedure, go to procedures tab. And here you refresh it so that you can see the X5 also, example 5. This is example 5. And select this and execute. See, 1 and 2, which was inserted by me, I'm able to see. Very simple. Okay. Now let's understand the requirement. Each time your user will give one input, I underscore say in I underscore user input, something like this, and the data type is integer. Now if user select say I am giving 20, something like this, then what will happen? You will come and check in the table what is my maximum entry, what is the maximum column 1 entry. So what is the maximum column entry here? What is the maximum value I have here? Please answer in the chat window. What is the maximum value of column 1 here in my current table SQL underscore X5? Please answer in the chat window. What is the maximum? 2, right? So what I will do, I will try to create the entries from number 3 and I will go till number 23 because I want to insert 20 values. So what is the maximum value? It will select and it will start from that value. Very simple. Okay. So what we will do, first of all, the first select statement will be to understand what is my maximum value, right? So for that, we will write select maximum function. You see here, select max. What is the column name? Column 1. So select maximum column 1 from this table. And what I will do, I will take this value into a variable. So that variable we have to declare. Declare v underscore max of type integer. Simple. And I will put this into this variable. Any problem till that point? Any problem? What I'm doing, taking the maximum value from this table and I'm storing into a variable v underscore max. Very simple. Okay. Now even let's see that what is the value. So for that, let's take out this thing. Okay. And save it and activate, so that we can see whether we are achieving our first step or not. The first step is to determine the maximum column 1 number. Okay, so let's come here and execute this again. Okay, oh, I'm very sorry. Since v underscore max it is going, so it will not show you the output. For that, what we have to do, we have to display the value of v max. So select, how do you write the value of v underscore max? Please answer in the chat window. How do you write the value of a v underscore max to the end user? What I have to write? I want to display a variable, the value of a variable to the end user. How do you write it? Please answer in the chat window. What statement should I write? What is if statement? There is no if statement. Why I'm writing if statement? I am saying that I want to display the value of v underscore max. That's it. To the end user. How do you write? How do you write a variable? Dummy. Select v underscore max from dummy. Then only it will go, because v underscore max is not associated with any table. So v underscore max is always associated with dummy table. Okay, save and activate. Okay, now you go here. See, number 2 is coming, because 2 is what is my maximum value from this table. So my first step is achieved. Okay, so let's remove this dummy now. Now what I want, I will be taking the user input. So in user input of integer, now what we will do is, we will say v underscore max is equal to v underscore max plus 1. Why I'm doing this? Because we will start inserting the values from the next maximum value, which is 3. Now what I want to take the user input. If it is 20, then from 3 to 23 it should be inserted into my table. So how do you write this? So for that, you either use while statement or you can use for statement. So I will showcase this example with both kind of clauses, which is for loop and end loop. So let's start with for loop first. So for loop, the statement starts like this: for, I need a variable, because I need a variable which can drive the for loop. For that, what we will do, declare I integer. So I is going to be my iterative variable. So I in, so it should start from which value? 1, and it should go to which value? Till user input value. Do you follow what I'm saying? From 1 to how much value? If it is 20, then from 1 to 20 it should loop. And the value of 1 to 20 will come and reside in 1, in I variable. This is I. So I will be holding the iterations from 1 to 20. User input could be anything, 2, 5, 10, 20, 100, anything. Okay. I will write as do. Okay. And simply you first of all end the syntax and for. So syntax is closed. Now what I want to do, I want to insert into which table? Insert into ST HANA 26, this table, right? X5. So insert into this table values. Which value? The values would be I, isn't it? Because the I want to insert, right? So what I will do, values I. No, not exactly I, because V underscore max will be 3, right? Now 3 will be inserted here. So what we will do here, we will insert V underscore max only, V underscore max, right? But V underscore max will be incremented in every iteration, so that first time it will go inside 3 and then last it will be 20. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, what is this statement? This statement will give you V underscore max is equal to 2 because 2 is my current maximum value. Now what will be my next current value? So I have determined it here only, which is 3. Or else what you can do, one more thing you can do, let's remove this thing. Okay, let's remove this thing, or you can just simply write here also directly. Control X, Control V. So now you see this is V underscore max. It is having 2 value. Now once it goes inside this loop, V underscore max will be incremented by 1. So it will be 3. And 3 will be assigned to again V max. So what I am saying, now insert number 3 here. Done? Okay, now again it will go to the loop. Now the loop value will be again done. It will be again incremented by 1, 4, so 4. Then again incremented 5, 5. How many times this will loop go? So this loop will go till user input times, which is 20 times. So 20 times it will insert here. Okay, and that is what we want. So let's try to see this. Save and activate. Very simple example. Okay, there is a problem in the line 70, column 1. Oh, I'm sorry, I just gave this for example. So I have to remove this. This is not the right syntax. Save, and here I have to activate. Activation done. No, it's not done yet. Okay, see another error. What it is saying, insert, update, delete are not supported in the read-only procedure. Our last session example is coming now. What I had showed you in the last session, that if you want to have this kind of DDL statement, you will have to remove read SQL data. So you have to remove this. Now it will become write enabled. Save, right click, activate. Again error. What is the exact error? Not authorized. Okay, maybe this table SQL underscore X5, right? ST HANA 26 X5 I cannot use. Why? Because it is invoker. Here you see this is invoker. So we have to make it as definer. If I make it definer, who will come and execute it? Repository. Sys repo will come and execute. Again, there is a problem. What is the problem? Could not create catalog, insufficient privilege, not authorized. 1 minute. Insert into values V underscore max. Nope, there is no problem with the authorization. The problem is with something else. 1 minute, let me see that. The problem is not with the definer or invoker. I think the insert thing is not working here. Save. Insert into ST HANA 26 X5. Insert is not, I think the problem is with the privileges. Okay, so let me see that.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so the problem is with the sysrepo user. So what we did is we went into sysrepo, and in this ST HANA 26 schema, the insert rights were actually missing. So I have given that and now activated. So now when you activate, now it is activated. It's successfully activated. Now let's try to execute this procedure. So go to HANA console. Now I have one input parameter, right? And that input parameter says that if I enter, for example, 10, say example 10, so the current value, which is 2, right? It will insert 10 more values. So from 10 more values, it will be 12, right? Let's see. Call and execute. Done. See, it is executed in the background. Now what we will do, we will select a query. We will fire a select query, select star from the same table, which is Control C, Control V, and now you select this. See the beauty. From 3 to 12, it is dynamically inserted. Let's again insert something. Now let's say I insert 20 more values. Okay. Execute, done. Now you again select the values. See, now it is 32. Why? From 12 to 20, again 32 values are now inserted. So earlier it was 12. So what was the maximum value? 12. So from 12, 20 new values are inserted. So now it is 32. Understood? Well, how does the for loop works? So this is for loop. Okay. Now what we will do, we will write the same logic for while loop. So for that, what we will do, we will first of all comment this. So this is how you comment. See, this part is now commented. It will not be executed by SAP HANA. Now I will write something for while loop. Now while loop, how does the while loop work? So you know that while loop always works. So while loops actually runs forever until it meets a condition. So what I say that please run this loop until one counter reaches 20. Then you terminate this loop and come out of this loop. Okay. So what I will say, while I is my iterative variable, I say please run this while loop unless I becomes less than equal to my user input. User input is, for example, 20. Very simple. Do and while. Simple format. And now what I want to insert certain values. Insert Control C, Control V. Same logic. See here. It's just that how do you terminate this loop is important. So while will come here, it will say, okay, now here one catch is there. See, I. What is the value of I when I don't declare anything? So I have to declare default as 1. So now it will come and say 1 is less than equal to user input. Now, for example, user input is 10. So 1 is less than equal to 10. Yes, go inside. It will go. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's activate this thing because we want a maximum value in each case, right? So I will select the maximum value and for loop I have commented. So this will not be executed. So maximum value is again under v underscore max and it will take v underscore max plus 1 and directly insert here. Very simple example. Insert. Okay, now save it. Go to repository. Activate this. Done. Now you come to your procedure. Here you insert 50 more values. Okay. So now what is the current maximum value? 32. So with this execution, what will happen? It will reach 82, isn't it? I am inserting 50 more values. So select this and execute this. Done. Now you see the current column values for this table. Oh, see. The problem is here. It has gone into infinite loop. It has gone into infinite loop because I have not given a condition here. I have not incremented I. I should be equal to I plus 1. Then only it will be 20, right? One time. So now you see it is going forever, forever. I don't know how many values are now inserted. So you have to terminate this. See, terminated. I don't know what will be the total values inserted here. Let's see. Nothing, because I have cancelled the operation altogether. So whatever values which was inserted, it will be rolled back. So nothing has been inserted. So we are safe. Now what is I? I has to be incremented, right? So what I will do, I is equal to I plus 1. I have to write something like this. I is equal to I plus 1. Done, right? So now you save it. With every increment, this will also increment, and one time this will also become 50, and this is already 50, right? So then it will get terminated. Save it and activate. Done. Activation done. Now you come here, call the procedure, and oops, again it is running. What is happening? We have to terminate this. I think the while loop is not working properly. Let's see why it is not working. So maximum value is done. Oh my bad. I wrote this condition outside this loop. My bad. I have to insert here inside this loop. Then only it will increment, right? If I write outside this loop, it will never come. So now save it and then activate. And now finally it should run. Go to this, execute, and done. See, it's done. Now you go to select query, execute. See, 82. Done. This is how you write while loop. Okay. Now let's create one scenario here. What we will do is we will ask the user, do you want to execute this with for loop or while loop? Okay, so what I will do, I will ask the user in input, say type integer. So if user insert 1, it will be for loop, and no, not like this. What I will do, not integer, let's say varchar, and say 10. So if user say for, then for loop. If user say while, then while loop. Simple. So what we will do, we will create if else and if and else condition here. So we will write here if input underscore type is equal to for, then you execute this block, right? Else if input type is equal to while, then you execute this block. And if. That's it. See, we have created a condition for and if and else also. What is the issue here? Some red marks is coming. Somewhere it is missing. Where it is missing? And if. For and for it is done. Else if is also done. While and if. Why it is giving 1 minute? Let me activate. Maybe it will go on its own. If for while. I think it's fine only. Why it is going activate? No, there's a problem. In line number 40, it is expecting something. And why is that so? Am I missing anything here? So if condition is done, for I 1 2 2. Okay, I think else, it is looking for else condition, maybe. 1 minute. So what I'll do, I will something write else. Yeah. No, it is still not satisfied. Where care? If, for, and for. Okay, let's comment this thing. Let's do one by one. This is commented. This is else if. Let's also comment this. If, then, and if. What is missing? Else. It is still saying that something is missing. Where am I missing? Else if. Let's comment everything. Let's see where it is having some problem. It is still having some problem. Why it is so? Now there is nothing which I am doing here. All these three statements and end. Still it is craving for some statements. 1 minute. Select star, activate. Okay, now it is not coming. So let's activate the statements one by one. So if statement I will first of all activate. This is if statement. No problem. Okay, it is fine. Now what I will do, I will open this for loop. Any problem? No problem. Okay. Now what I will do is write else if. See, now the prompts is starting else if. Then see, now it is problematic. Else if is problematic. Let's make it else then. Else. Now it is fine. I will give you the explanation why it is happening, but for now, what see, if it is for, then this will be executing. If it is while, sorry, other than for, then this while will be executing, right? Save it and activate. So here we have used the utility of if, for, while, everywhere, everything, right? And let's do also one thing. Let's also pass from the procedure only that which one has been executed. Okay, so for example, if the for is executed, then something in this block will give an indication that the for has been executed. So what I will do, this is for block. So I will write select for loop executed from dummy. So this will go directly to the user, for loop executed. Now, if I write here, then I will write select while loop executed from dummy. Very simple. so that the user can also understand that which one was executed. Okay, save and then activate. Now let's test this example. I have made it little complicated, but it's very understandable. So now what is my first parameter? I'm saying please execute for loop and please insert 60 values. Simple, right? Select this and execute. What it is saying? For loop executed. Fine. Now let's see 60 values has been inserted or not. Come here. Earlier was 82, now it is 142, right? So 60 executed. Now other than for, let's say while. Let's insert 10 values and execute. See, it is saying while loop executed. That gives me evidence that my if else is also working. Now, when I execute this, you should be able to see 152 values. Understood? This is how the imperative logic, all those concepts works. And this example which I have given is a very complete example. It contains a lot of concepts, right? So let's do one more thing. Let's add one more complexity. Now, once this insert has been inserted, right? This insert has been inserted. Let's also give that for loop executed, and now the max value is, I also want to give the user that what is my current maximum value after this insertion. So for now it is 152, right? So once the user execute this procedure, he will be able to see that while executed, while loop executed or for loop executed, but now with this execution, now the new maximum value is something like something else. So for that, what we have to do, we have to again fire the select query with maximum value. So let's say Control C, Control V, and I will use this V underscore max also here. And then the max value is V underscore max. Okay. Simply copy this again. Take this and we will write this statement right at the end. No, not at the end. We will have to reduce here only. Okay. So what we will do, this is loop executed V underscore max. And here also we will write and the max value is V underscore max. Let's see what the value is now. Activate, done. Go to HANA console. Now you see I will write, say example, what is the current value? 152, right? So let's make insert 48. So when I execute this, what should be the message? Let's see. Oh, what is the issue? Okay. All right. So what is the issue here is that this V underscore max is an integer, right? I cannot pass string and integer directly into the console. It has to be a string variable. So for string, what we have to do, we have to either, okay, let's even understand one more concept. There is a concept called cast. So what we will do, we will make this thing as varchar. So cast varchar V underscore max. So we are making this V underscore max as varchar. Okay. So let's copy this thing here also. Cast means cast conversion. We are making this integer into varchar at runtime. You see here. And let's see. I'm making it a little more complex, but with all this, you are actually gaining the knowledge. See now again activation error, syntax error, some bracket missing. What is that bracket? 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Some brackets are missing. is cost varchar v underscore max. Why is it so cast? What is the issue? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's remove this part for now. I just want to showcase this part to the end user. Not this string, but this part. That what is my current maximum value here. Okay, so let's activate this. Again, problem, sum 28 line. Select cast. This is cast conversion varchar v underscore max. I think we have to use this, then only it will work. I think so. Let me see that. Is that the problem? Activate. No. The problem is something else. Select v underscore max. Select v underscore max. I make it now simpler so understand that why it is happening. Active. See, now it is working. So select v underscore max is working. Now how do you add a string here? So select string, any string, right? This is string. Okay, I think it will want, it's a summation. Oh, it's a summation. It's trying to add it. So what you should do is you should concatenate it. So how do you concatenate is something like this. You can do pipe. And now what you do, cast varchar. Okay. So now let's try to execute. Let's activate. Is it okay? No. What is the problem here? String is this pipe. I think this is how you write the cast, right? Cast. Because if you want to concatenate two things, the other one also has to be string. So what I'm doing, this v underscore max is what? V underscore max is a integer. So that's why I'm trying to make it as varchar at runtime. But somehow it is not accepting. 1 minute. Now there are 2 to 3 techniques through which we can achieve this, but let me try to understand why it is not happening. Cast in SQL HANA, what is exactly the syntax? I think you have to use 2 varchar. Yeah, I think this is the problem. 2 I have to insert. Two varchar. 1 minute. Let me see if this is the right syntax. No, this is not the right syntax. Cast v underscore max as varchar. Is this the syntax? Yeah, this is the syntax. Okay. So I was not able to recall the syntax. So what I'm doing is v underscore max at runtime is making into varchar. Okay. All right. So now I can write simply like this: while loop and new value is v underscore max. Simple. All right. So let's copy this, and I will write this thing here also. for loop and new value is this. Okay, save and activate. Done. Now come here and execute. See what is coming. What I have given while loop. So it is saying while loop executed and new value is 200, isn't it? See, 48 is inserted here. Now I will do for loop. And I will insert, for example, 50 values. So now it should show 250 because the current maximum value is 200. Okay, let's make it 150. No problem. Insert this. Now 350 should be my new value. Understood this concepts? In this example, I think this example 5 is very important. I have actually given you a lot of logic here. How do you concatenate things? This is pipe operator. How do you cast? How do you convert a variable type at runtime? Because v_max is an integer, right? So insert the concatenate cannot work with string and integer. It will only work with string. So I have converted into varchar, which is a type string variable. Okay, I think today's session has given you a lot of information regarding these kind of concepts. So please go through this and practice as much as possible so that you can get familiar with this kind of syntax. Okay. So with that, it's a wrap to today's session. We will see tomorrow and let's continue the journey of SQL HANA. Thank you.